So the next morning, we went to the Edinburgh Castle. It was quite rainy. I remember we had to use umbrella almost the entire tour we were there. Yeah, but Edinburgh Castle was quite nice actually. It's quite big.
Yeah. See, I knew you would enjoy it.
The historical part is quite interesting. So this is the example of a
Working castle.
wartime castle compared to the residential castles. It also has some stuff. I think certain parts you cannot film, like the what do you call that? The crown. What do you call that? The crown jewels. Yeah, it's quite cool to see everything that's intact there. There's a lot of warring between England and Scotland back in the day. Learn a lot more about like their history. Also made me go and read up like why are they always fighting? How did they even come together in the first place, despite being so like hostile to each other, right? So it turns out to be the monarchy is the main trigger point, I guess.
Then we walked down the Royal Mile for a bit. The Royal Mile is not even a mile, right? Somebody said.
Yeah, it wasn't a Royal Mile. Was that the day that we just visit another chapel?
This is the big one. This is the famous one.
What's it called?
Yeah, St. Giles Cathedral. I think that was the evening we had the Scotch whiskey experience. That's why the whiskey were all Scottish whiskies. Then they made us like smell that perfume card thing to experience
Yeah, it's quite fun. Like it gives you the process of how whiskey is done. It also explains what's the unique thing about Scotch whiskey.
It was like 5 different districts. It was quite cool. Especially after we went to Oban.
Then you also have the tasting, which is kind of nice. And I get the drink now because I wasn't driving. And there's this huge collection of whiskey, which is basically what I'm working towards. Obviously, I am almost there. Yeah, but it's collected by some guy who I think he sold or donated this collection. Yeah. And some of the whiskey looks like they are drank, but actually none of the whiskeys were open. It looks like they were drank because of evaporation. Yeah, some of them are very old, and back then sealing, what do you call it? They may not be as good as it is today lah. The next day we were walking into random alleys, thanks to Yvette, like leading the way.
Oh, this was the day we did the Mary King's Close tour.
Yeah.
Oh, that was quite cool. That was quite interesting. We didn't take much footage there because I think it wasn't allowed, right?
Yeah. But the close is basically it talks a bit about how Edinburgh was built lah. They built on top of each other on old buildings.
Because if you read those books written about Edinburgh back in the day, like by James Joyce or whatever, that talks about the tenements and in Edinburgh and like the poverty and stuff like that. I guess Mary King's Close kind of delved a bit into that's what the city was known for before it was cleaned up.
I remember the tour was quite fun because the way that they approach it is like, you're a time traveler, and then the guide is basically someone from the past. So yeah, that was quite fun. Oh, but after that we went towards the Arthur's Seat, which we were happily walking. Then Yvette is like, yeah, I've been here before. Yeah, this is a shortcut. So I was like, okay, I follow Yvette this shortcut.
Is that Arthur's Seat or is that Arthur's Seat?
That's a good question.
Turns out that it was not Arthur's Seat. This was another space. What's it called again?
It was another hill in the same park.
So Yvette's like, last time I came here, I've been to Arthur's Seat. So turns out Yvette has never been up the Arthur's Seat before. What a scam. So we were here.
Salisbury
Creek. And then from the other side we can see the Arthur's Seat, where you see a lot more people were there.
But how do you get a good shot of Arthur's Seat if you're on Arthur's Seat? You don't. You have to get a good shot of Arthur's Seat from somewhere
The
else.
best part is you thought you were there before and you knew this is a shortcut. Like you are fucking local at that.
And there was some sort of like weird cosplay ritual
Festival. I think
like
they
they
were
were
like-
practicing for something.
Looks like a rehearsal.
Yeah.
Well, just like when I'm looking at them, I'm also just thinking like, oh, if I'm a local here, is this how I spend my Sunday here?
What being the
I don't know, joining them. Whee! This is how my life will be like. Then we took a train to London. Is this considered a first class?
Yeah, it was. There's food.
Yeah,
Normal
there's
people
food.
have no food.
Yeah, poor people no food.
No
The
food.
only
They
we got
bring their
food.
own food. Remember we were preparing for the London part, we were saying, oh my god, you need to bring like phone strap, or not your phone will get snatched. Remember all that prep work?
But turns out actually okay lah. I mean, we were being more cautious, but I think we also see how locals are using their phone. It's not like everybody is constantly on alert.
Vigilant.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
Awesome.
always good to be safe lah. But yeah, we went Dishoom, which is a relatively, I guess it's like popular touristy.
Oh, we went for breakfast the next day.
Yeah.
That was good.
Dishoom is like a touristy place, is it? Or a lot of
I think
locals
locals
go there.
also go.
I see. But it's actually Indian food, but do you think that it's a bit more?
Like westernized.
Yeah.
That's what when I was telling my agency, I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we went to
I
Dishoom,
mean-
and then
I
they're like,
mean-
oh, that's British Indian food.
I mean, yeah, cause I mean some of the ingredients, like they use sausage. Like sausage obviously is not part of Indian
I
cuisine.
guess it's fusion lor.
Yeah, but it's really good.
The
I really enjoyed it.
restless naan, I think that's what we had.
Yeah, the one that you ordered was
So good, right? What do you have?
some like breakfast platter. Remember?
You and your platters.
Yeah, watch Phantom with restricted view.
Then you paid for
The £1 for the
zoom in bino.
binoculars. I mean, it was quite cheap, right? It was like £40, is it? £30. Yeah, like, a bit sucks to have a pole blocking our view, but I think overall the singing performance was quite good, so kind of still enjoyed it.
And then I think we went to
Just
the
walk around.
museum,
Oh, what's this museum called again?
British Museum.
Very big. A lot of statue.
Stolen.
A lot of really all the stolen goods.
Yeah. We saw the Rosetta Stone.
Oh
It was
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, it's just a giant rock.
Yeah, but that was the key to unlocking, deciphering
Yeah,
the
but
hieroglyphics.
it's a giant rock.
It's so cool. You know how historic it is. Oh my god, it was so cool. And then we met my friends for lunch. That really nice what food was it actually?
Middle Eastern, I think.
See, once again, Middle Eastern food. That's what you like.
I remember the pork belly was quite good.
Yeah. I remember the bread thing was really nice. Oh, the
There's
bread
some
was so good.
curry thing, right? Is it a curry fries?
I don't think I think it was the eggplant, right?
Then the next day we went to Imperial War Museum.
I think this was our last full day already, right? Yeah.
I mean, I generally enjoy. I wouldn't say enjoy war, but I enjoy like the history of the World Wars. I thought it's always very fascinating. A lot of different artifacts, talking about the stories, the history, and also there was a depressing, what do you call that? Holocaust museum. A section that covers
It was
the
a
Holocaust.
floor on the Holocaust.
Yeah, that was super depressing.
I remember when on the first, like in the main like lobby area of the War
Yeah.
Museum, they had that press car that was taken straight out of Gaza, remember?
Yeah.
It's like,
So it's like
from a fresh war zone.
fresh from the oven. I do recommend people to visit this if you're interested in like the World War history. So right after that, we went to the Natural Museum. What do you call it?
Natural History Museum.
Natural History Museum. Yeah, I know it's a combination of some of these words. There's a giant-ass blue whale. Kind of cool. It covers like the dinosaurs and stuff. Talks about mammals. Kind of fun. I think if you have kids, actually it'll be interesting to bring the kids here.
Yeah. I remember walking until damn tired. And then you were still happily walking, and I'm just there like...
I remember like some of the displays, they say that it was what's that word?
Taxidermy.
Yeah, taxidermy. But so some of them they're quite old already, so the colors are a bit off. And they did point out like by today's standard it feels too cruel, right?
So they might not be ethically
Sourced.
acquired.
Yeah. But I think instead of just taking this down, I think the museum put down certain writings to acknowledge that some of these things weren't done right in the past. But to moving forward, like today onwards, that's something that they always take note of, which I thought was kind of a good way to preserve some of these things that were already done, while acknowledging they can do better lah.
That was our last full day. Then the next day we
Didn't do much, right?
we were thinking, should we go back to the War History Museum? But then actually we didn't. And then I wanted to go to the one last bookshop, which was the library. Then we saw another like book display at the library, or the books, remember?
Oh yeah, what's they call again, this place?
It's the National Library.
That's the last place that we went, right? Yeah, actually it's quite nice there. That museum space thing.
It was free too.
Yeah, it talks about all the different writings and like literature, not literature, but like physical books. Yeah, that
like Bibles,
important writings that occurred throughout history.
Religious texts from all over the world. It wasn't just like Western. I remember they had like Islamic texts.
The
also.
Hindu, related
Jainism,
Buddhism,
Japanese.
What was your experience in the UK? This is your second time, third time?
The first time I ever been was like 10, 12 years ago as a student. And we only went to London. Then I went last year to visit Tammy and then just go Edinburgh by myself. At the moment I went to Edinburgh, I knew I want to come back again, and I want to come back with someone who can drive. Because I really want to do like a road trip.
It doesn't have to be me lah. It can be anyone. Someone who can drive.
Then I was thinking, who would be perfect for this? It would be Kenneth. Because Kenneth loves whiskey. Who knew Kenneth would fall sick right before the trip? Like somebody asked before, like, what do you look out for when you travel? And then I say, actually thinking about it now as I get older, I think it's really like nature. Because these are the kind of like scenery you can never get in Singapore.
Yeah.
And you can never get in like those places that we usually travel, like Bali. So I really think that we did a lot of like nature, cultural, and then I got all the books that I wanted to get. Wow. So it hit all my tick all my boxes.
It's my first time in this part of the world, Europe. So to be honest, at the start I was like, how much will I enjoy this? Because I always go Japan, right? But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy the road trip portion of it, especially. I would say like the landscape that you see would be, it's still nature compared to like maybe Japan with their road trip. But I think the landscape is like obviously quite different. Driving there was also interesting. People drive quite fast. Yeah.
Because you had an impression that it'd be like New Zealand, right?
Yeah, I thought that people would adhere to speed limits, but people are driving them fast. Even some parts where it's like 3 sentence. I feel like people are not slowing down in those areas. Weather was also generally quite okay lah. There's only 1 or 2 days that was a bit more rainy. So we were quite lucky in that sense. Yeah, quite fun. I mean, history, the historical part of it, it also makes me realize, even for Scotland, like how much influence Scotland has on Singapore. You know, like the naming of certain roads, like
Hague Road, for example.
yeah, like Mac this, Mac that,
Yeah.
or Mac Ritchie. Mac is a Scottish origin, right? Even my own name, Kenneth,
Oh yeah,
is of Scottish
name.
origin, right? So yeah, it's kind of cool lah.
I really like Edinburgh. I know you don't like Edinburgh as much, but I really like Edinburgh.
Yeah,
It had to be one
I
of my
mean,
favorite cities, to be
I mean,
honest.
I wouldn't say I don't like it, but it's more like when we finished the road trip, I was expecting like the convenience of a nice city. Edinburgh didn't really have that. I think my impression of Edinburgh will be different if we have experienced London first. Then Edinburgh will feel like a very quaint, nice city compared to the busyness of London. Any way to end our video? Any sounds that we can make?
So like the Star Wars ending.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No?
It sounds
Does that
exactly the
sound
same
like-
as before you heard the sound, Kenneth. I don't know what's the point of subjecting me to that. Sure as bagpipes.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Bye bye.